Oh, God, here we go. Predator Killer of Killers is an animated anthology by Dan Trachtenberg that tells the story of three humans from various points in history defeating a predator only for them to end up mysteriously captured. The movie tells the story of how each character bested their matches and what happens to them after they all wake up trapped on a predator ship. So, let's get into it. Now, this is going to differ from a typical review because usually I do a plot breakdown and then give my thoughts on that and end up recommending or not recommending the movie after. But because this is an anthology, I have to go through each story plus the wraparound story. So instead of doing all of that for each story, I'm going to kind of just recite the notes that I took and comment on them. So I hope you can follow through or follow along. Whatever. So story one starts off with Ursa, a Valkyrie Viking lady who is leading an army to get revenge on the man that made her kill her own father, which may or may not be true because her dad made her kill him and the guy just stood there and let her. So she vows revenge and is now a older Viking lady with a son, and they are traveling to go get this guy. When they finally get to his castle, they show just how overpowered Ursa is. And I'm not usually one to complain about something like this, but I can only suspend my disbelief so far. Ursa might as well be a Valkyrie from Wonder Woman. The feats that she just performs against armored men twice her size, who obviously have to be stronger than her, and then when she fights a fucking predator.
Really?
She can do such things as fight dudes twice her size, hold her breath under freezing water while resisting hypothermia for almost 3 minutes. She fights a predator and uses his gadgets in ways that she would have no idea would work. Not only does this not work, but the internal logic of these gadgets don't work. We see the predator use the gadget. It's like this punch gadget thing where it like enhances its punch and also puts out like a energy blast. We see him explode rocks and people with it. But every time he uses it on her, it's fine. And then finally, she conveniently gets him to drown in the water by just having an anchor chain wrap around his ankle. He grabs her ankle to take her with him, and somehow he's about to use his punch blast weapon in her face. She raises her busted-ass shield in just the right moment for it to launch her through the water, not break the shield, out of the hole that they both fell in to safety.
What? What the fuck?
Like, this is so fucking convenient. Everything that happens to and for her, and we're supposed to believe that she's like some warrior lady who wouldn't just immediately die against the first 300-pound Viking that came crashing towards her with a fucking axe. So this movie has already established within the first story that it can't follow its own rules. So we get to look forward to that for the whole rest of the movie. After this is done, we see her sitting in what looks like a predator ship, and she's thinking to herself, and in the background is some guy kneeling on the ground. Now we're going to the second story. It's this guy. This story is actually like kind of okay, but the setup is weird. It's a strange revenge plot that doesn't make too much sense because it starts out with two boys stick fighting over like samurais, and then like their dad or somebody comes along and is like, you have to fight with real swords now, but the one kid doesn't want to, and so the other one like sneak attacks him and cuts his cheek, and it's like a paper thin cut. So that boy who cut the other boy's cheek goes to stand next to their dad, and the other one gets to run away and cry. Flash forward 20 years, and the boy who ran away to cry has a beard now and is like a super awesome samurai fighter and just goes through and just wrecks this entire dojo trying to get to his brother. He has a scar on his face that's supposed to tell the audience this is the kid. And I'm like, sorry, dude, you don't get a scar that big from a fucking paper cut. I don't care if it was done with a samurai sword. It wasn't that deep. So he goes and fights his brother, I guess, almost to the death. He knocks him over to the edge and doesn't kill him, just scratches his face, and then decides to walk away, but the banister gives way and his brother falls to his death. He barely reaches out to try to save his brother, but, it's fine. We get to have a Predator fight now. And it comes down to the both brothers have to fight together to kill the Predator. They do the anime thing where they run at each other and cross swords and bling, flash, whatever, and they killed an invisible Predator. So cool. I mean, it's weird because we see the brother fall off the edge and we assume he died, but he just like walks up and is like, yo, what's up? We're going to fight this Predator together. So it was a valiant attempt at a rivalry story that just kind of went wrong at every turn. So now we get into story number 3. Story number 3 takes place during World War I. We're following some Mexican kid who likes to drive cars, and his Mexican father is, I don't know if they're actually Mexican, but they're Latin, is a wizard with cars. The kid wants to fly. The dad says, you're never going to fly if you can't fix your own engine. And then the kid gets drafted into the military. Flash forward into the military. The kid is a bad pilot mechanic. And we're supposed to just go, okay. So Latin wannabe pilot has to go get a message to pilots that are already in the air that are getting shot down by Predator ships because somebody came back with a spear lodged in his wing or something, and Latin boy had to reverse engineer it, and nobody can tell them that it's not of this world, so he has to. So he has to get into a plane that barely starts so that he could use the force to make it work. He's in the air, literally having to fly and fix this plane at the same time because it starts to fall apart as it's in the air. There are so many amounts of that happened in this story. It's hilarious. I found myself dying laughing at everything that this superhero had to do. Somehow Latin boy figures out that the ships can only see heat. We don't know how he figures this out, but he does. So he tells his pilot captain, who's the only other survivor with him, to fly up into the stratosphere to cool the engines down, finally turn off the engines. The plan goes great, but randomly, the other pilot goes, I'm gonna buy you some time and die.
Why?
No idea. So we get a pointless sacrifice. The Latin boy ends up cutting his engines. The Predator leaves him alone. He falls down as the Predator ship is going back towards Earth, shoots out one of his engines that doesn't really apparently do anything to the Predator ship, and then leads the Predator on a chase through an open war zone where there's anti-aircraft missiles flying all over the place that shoots the Predator ship down, but doesn't shoot down his janky fucking plane with him in it. I can't fucking do this. But then the Predator's plane ship isn't actually damaged. It just comes out of the water and finally explodes. I forget how this friggin' story ends. How does this story end? It does. Who fucking cares? So we go back to the ship and we get to the finale of the wraparound story, which is the 3 survivors of the 3 different Predator attacks in history are taken to the Predator planet to fight arena style with each other for the honor of facing the King Predator. I'm not sure how they kept everybody in suspended animation, but here we go. So this monster comes along during the arena fight, swallows Latin boy. He's in this monster's stomach alive and looking around for a way to get out, finds a bomb or something, and starts stabbing the inside of the stomach of this monster while the other 2, the Valkyrie lady and the samurai, are fighting. And this whole time, the monster's like not choking while this is happening. So whatever. Viking lady and samurai guy finally kill the monster with the help of the Latin boy stabbing him in the stomach. The monster gets shoved into the garbage by some predator in a sandmobile or something like that, while Latin boy is still in the stomach, so he's gone. Viking lady and samurai guy keep fighting. Eventually, Latin boy comes out with the speeder that he just randomly learned how to fly with the arm of a predator and knows the exact button to hit to release the bomb collars off of everybody. They then ride the land speeder up to the King Predator's platform, fight the King Predator, but Latin boy goes into to his big ship, uses the force again to figure out how to fly it, while Viking lady gets captured and samurai guy gets his arm blown off. They escape, sort of, King Predator says, let's go hunting, and a bunch of Predator ships go fly after Latin boy and samurai guy. We get to the epilogue that shows that the characters were kept in cryostasis throughout history until this specific point where they wanted these specific fighters in this specific arena fight. The last image is of the Native American girl who beat the Predator in the movie Prey. Sorry, spoiler alert. I just ruined a bad movie for you. In also one of these cryostasis chambers. So this movie is stupid as fuck. The stories are lame. The plot contrivances in every single one of them are hilariously obvious and convenient. The only really good thing about this movie are the fight scenes. But the animation was kind of bland. And I'm not a fan of whatever that style is. It's a weird, like, cell shading CG, like, animation kind of thing. I don't like it. I like a little more stylized animation. But if you just like cool fight scenes, then I guess give this movie a watch, but you might be distracted by the sheer idiocy of the plot of the shorts and the wraparound story to pay attention to any of these fights. This movie is fucking bad, and Dan Trachtenberg should feel bad about this. So anyway, thanks for listening to this rant review. If you made it this far, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe to the channel. If you didn't like this video, I appreciate you watching this far anyway, and I will see you on the next one.